Lots to talk about with Salesforce. Jim Cramer's going to fill us in. Jim, you've talked to the CEO.
Right.
We've got earnings coming out, and you think actually TheStreet read those earnings wrong.
Yeah, I think that's really the way to look at it. You know, the stock was at 80 when the company was doing incredibly well for the quarter, and that made sense. And then when people heard that maybe it wasn't doing that well, or when LinkedIn didn't do that well and Tableau didn't do that well, they sold the stock down to the 50s. There was some takeover premium in Salesforce too. Benioff delivered his best quarter ever. The operating cash flow is huge. I remember there was a very long period where people felt the company wasn't really making money. They're making a lot of money. They've got about $11 billion in deferred revenue on the books. That's actual going to turn out to be real revenue. And what I would emphasize with Benioff is winning share, huge share from SAP and Oracle. Now, Oracle, remember, he worked there for 13 years. Oracle's going to come back and try to say that's not the case. But what Mark's talking about is faux cloud, which is what is LinkedIn and Tableau. And he's talking about being Uberized if you stick with Oracle and SAP. And I urge everyone to go listen to the call because it really was an amazing quarter, really taking share from the other guys.
I want to bounce back to the numbers for a moment because you wrote in your piece on Real Money that if you look at the revenue growth for the size of the company, also something to really think about as an investor.
Yeah, I mean, he was talking about how Microsoft, SAP, and Oracle revenue growth is slowing, and here the revenue growth is just incredibly strong. You know, $8 billion company growing in the high 20s. It's kind of unheard of, as it is to be unheard of to have two 9-figure deals in one quarter. The endorsements that the company's getting from Accenture out loud, from ABB out loud, and from Schneider out loud are also incredible. These are CEO to CEO discussions. In my piece in Real Money, I make it very clear that this is a company that is not done going higher, even though it's the stock is up 6.
That's where I was going to go next with you. What price are you comfortable with that?
The stock was in the 80s when the company wasn't even doing as well as it is now. I think it's perfectly realistic to think the stock could go to the 70s. Now, remember, there was takeover premium. One of the things that happened is when Steve Ballmer left Microsoft, Satya Nadella came in. Satya Nadella, very soft-spoken but very tough businessman, but a guy who's very simpatico with Mark. So when they get together and talk, because they do have a combined deal, immediately people say, hey, come on, it's got to be a takeover. What I'm urging people to recognize is they're friends. By the way, you know, Benioff loves Larry Ellison, who is the guy who founded Oracle. I mean, Benioff has many different friends. He would not, by the way, endorse what Cook's position was. When I kept trying, 3 times I tried to get him to endorse Cook's position, but he did point out, I think this is really important because I totally agree with him, that he's very concerned about Georgia legislation that could be anti-homosexual. And he's trying to get a coalition, that would include Home Depot, I imagine, that would also include Coca-Cola, to stop that law. Mark Benioff was instrumental in stopping the Indiana discrimination law. I think that this is a major focus, and he's the only guy talking about it.
Jim Cramer, thanks. Important point. I'm Rhonda Shapler for TheStreet.
To get more of Jim Cramer's investing ideas, as well as a peek at other stocks he owns in his multi-million-dollar charitable trust portfolio, subscribe to Action Alerts Plus. Sign up for Action Alerts Plus at getcrameredge.com. That's getcrameredge.com.